We are the way we are today because of past experiences or different educational methods that we went through. Now, when you look at society today with all its problems and negativity, oftentimes you can find an underlying common factor between most members of society: school. Hey everybody, this is Khaled from A Beard on Legs, where we try to provide value through product reviews and sometimes entertaining educational videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's start by asking a few questions. Why is it that we're normally afraid to try something new? We're afraid to invest in something. We're afraid to explore a different avenue, an alternative path, a different narrative. Why is it that the way life is today is you're born and then you go to school, then you go to college or university, you get a job, you work hard, you pay your taxes, you pay your bills, you put money away in a savings account somewhere, wait to retire. When you retire, if you have some money left, provided inflation hasn't gone through the roof or whatever other factors there are out there, you start to live your life. When you're in your 60s, 70s, if you even get a chance to retire, if you're so lucky to do so, why is it that that's the path that has been chosen for you and I? When you sit back, look around, ask a few questions, think, genuinely think and ponder as to why is that the way life is today. Because normally what we do is we just that's it. That's just how things are. That's just how it's always been, and therefore that's how it will always be. Why though? Now I'm not saying go into some weird conspiracy. None of that. I'm just asking why. Why is it that that's the way it has to be, and there's no two ways about it? Now, you've got your life to live, and I've got mine. You've got your paths to choose, and I've got mine. Why is it that you have to choose a path that I deem fit? Or a group thought this was the right way to go, or a school of thought, a society, at some point in time said, this is what we need to do, and therefore that's how your life is going to be molded and shaped according to those values or principles or goals or whatever that was. To me, that's a little unfair. Now, I'm not going to say it's entirely wrong, but I'm just going to say that without you having the ability to choose, that's a little problematic. Without you being able to critically think, to switch on your mind and look around and ask questions, that's not the right way to go, in my opinion. And oftentimes you find that it boils down to that awful emotion of fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being wrong, fear of losing, right? And you find that that mentality, that way of thinking, oftentimes was put in at school. How? Don't make a mistake, otherwise you might fail the exam. If you fail the exam, you're not going to go to the next grade, you're not going to pass, you're not going to go to college, no job, no life, you're not going to get married, you're just going to end up a bum on the street. Because you got one wrong mistake in whatever quiz it was in kindergarten. Now that's not entirely fair. Why? Look at babies, for example, right? The way they learn to walk is by falling, is by making mistakes, is by putting a foot there, then trying to stand on their hands, trying to stand on their eyelids, whatever it is, they figure out eventually, this isn't working for me. I need to get from A to B, and for me to get there the best and easiest way, I need to do this. Oh, I fell down, and basically you've seen how a baby walks. I don't need to get into the details of it. But the idea is a baby learns through mistakes. Now, I'm not calling you a baby, but I'm saying we could learn from babies. An example. Think of something that you know today quite well, a skill set, something you do in your job, whatever it is, that you know that, oh, this is the right way to do it. And oftentimes you're going to have this little flashback of the time when you messed up and you did it wrong. And that kind of stuck in your head. You're like, oh, I remember I did it that way, and that's a no-go because that was going to get me fired, going to get me in trouble, I was going to lose a lot, whatever it was, in whatever situation it was. That mistake, or the mistake you were about to make at the time, kind of like burnt it in your head that, okay, that's not the way to go, therefore I need to go this way. And now you do it the right way. But the only way you found out the right way was to make that mistake, right? Now, my issue with the schooling system, fundamentally, is that it teaches you that making mistakes is wrong. It's frowned upon. You're going to end up a failure. Don't make any mistakes. So you end up being really nervous and afraid not to make a mistake. So you want to aim for perfection. Now, there's nothing wrong with aiming for perfection, but when perfection stands in the way of your goal, you end up not getting to your goal because you just keep trying to, make it perfect without any flaws or mistakes. So you end up not getting the job done or the task done. You end up just spinning your wheels and staying in place. You're not making any progress. The idea of all the students in the class have to go do one test. It's a one-size-fits-all. And there was an analogy, I can't remember by who. It was a picture of a few different animals, a fish, a monkey, a dog, a cat, whatever. A few different animals. And the test was whoever can climb the tree is the winner. Now the fish is going to spend the rest of its life thinking, well, I'm just a failure in life. Why do I even exist? What's the point? I can't pass the bar. I can't get, I can't pass the test. I can't get through this obstacle. Therefore, my life is worthless, or I'm meaningless, or whatever it is. When in reality, each of those animals was created in their own unique way. Each one has its own skill set that makes it better than the other animal, and each one has a disadvantage, preys and predators. But the idea to do a one-size-fits-all leaves the person who doesn't make it end up feeling like there's something wrong with them because they didn't fit in to a standard that wasn't meant for them. And that's not a fair assessment, in my opinion. You're taught to just conform, go with the group. If everybody's doing it this way, you just got to do it that way. Just go along with them so that you don't be an outcast, so you're not this socially awkward person, so you're not weird. So you have friends, so you fit in. Now, this ties into the ideology of go get a job. Now, I'm not against jobs, of course. I'm against the idea that that's the only way you can get by in life. I'm against the idea that that's the only way for anybody to succeed. Proof of what I'm saying? Look at some of the characters out there. You've got Robert Kiyosaki, for example, a man I have a great amount of respect for. His methodologies, his teaching, his education, his goals and his passion. Look at Steve Jobs, for example. I'm pretty sure Einstein failed chemistry, but here we are learning Einstein's different theories of things, aren't we? But nevertheless, we're taught, go to school, study really hard, learn a lot of things that you might never have to use again in your life, but you just need to learn them now and stress about it and worry about it so that you could pass an exam to go to the next grade. Eventually, so that you could go to university. Let me tell you a personal story. Perhaps you'll relate. I went to university and I graduated with an honors degree in Human Resource Management, HRM, in Business Administration. That's my background. That's my educational background. That was a very long time ago. And since I graduated, I never once worked in that field. I needed the paper. I realized at the time, when I was in university, that I essentially just needed a piece of paper to be able to get a job. Now, my financial education at the time wasn't as strong as it is today, but I did have some enlightenment, some insight as to how to get a job in the market that I was in. I needed a piece of paper. So I got a degree in human resources. I got the degree, I got the piece of paper, ended up getting jobs. Not in HR. I worked in other fields. But they just needed to see that, hey, are you educated from a university? Yes, I am. Okay, you got the job. Doesn't relate to what I'm doing, but I just need to see that you have a piece of paper. Now, this doesn't apply for every field, obviously. But a lot of us just need a piece of paper. A lot of us don't even work in the field that we studied in. So coming back, if we look at society today, and we see a lot of people are unhappy. They don't like where they are. They don't like what they do. They get up and go to a job that they're miserable about, because they've got bills to pay, they've got financial responsibilities, and all the power to them. That takes a great deal of courage and selflessness to sacrifice your time, your life, for the sake of others, your family, people you care about. So let's reverse engineer it. You're unhappy now, doing a job that you don't like, paying bills, and you're in a cycle that's awful. How did you get there? Let's go back a little bit. University, in some cases, not everybody went to university, so the step before that would be school. So there's two variables, mainly, for the main bit, just for argument's sake. School, university, which falls into one variable, and then you've got jobs and experiences, which falls into another variable. This and this has led for you to be at this result, where you are now. Now, we can't change those variables for ourselves in terms of the past. It's done. We've gone to school, we've gone to university, we did such and such a job. It's gotten us to where we are now. But we could change those variables for our children, for the next generation. How? Look at alternative methods of education. For example, on a personal point, I've taken my son out of school, and my wife and I home educate him. We teach him different things in school. We teach him a different way of thinking, a different way of analyzing things, how to look at things differently, an alternative perspective. Broadens his mind. We take him with us when we travel, everywhere we go. He gets to see history in real life, in 4K. We take him out, we travel, we see these historic sites, we take him out to the bank, to the supermarket, wherever we're going. He gets to see different interactions, whether it's retail, whether it's investment. He watches what I do. Not all the time, he's still a young kid, but he watches what I do, he listens to what I say, what I talk about, what I study, what I engage in. Same with his mom. So he gets an alternative perspective on education. And I addressed this in a different video. But the bottom line now is if you change the formula, you end up with a different result. If you don't change the formula, you end up where you are. It's quite simple. You can look around. The bottle of water is on the floor. If you don't get up and don't change your situation, the bottle of water isn't going to come to you. If you don't ask somebody to give it to you, it's not going to come to you. You have to do something. You have to change the environment that you're in order to get to what you want. If what I'm saying is making sense to you, let me know in the comments below. What are your guys' thoughts on an alternative perspective to education? Why it's needed? Why is it the cause of the result that we're in today? Why is it the main cause, in my opinion? And if you disagree with me, I'd like to hear your opinions as well. This is a discussion. I'm giving you my opinion, my thoughts, what I see, and what I try to do, and how I could perhaps help you with that decision. In conclusion, the takeaway from today's discussion would be, 1, school isn't evil. It's not this little evil organization that's out there to get you or get your children or whatever. No, it's meant for some, it's not meant for others. You've got to analyze your own situation, see what it is you want to do, how you'd like your kids to be, what are your circumstances, and make a decision accordingly. Now again, I addressed that in the other video where I talk about why we went into homeschooling. And I have another couple of videos out there about how we homeschool, what we homeschool, and things like that. Perhaps those would help you as well. 2, study your subject. What is it you want to be? You want to be rich? You want to have your own business? You want to be in real estate? You want to be an investor? What is it? Whatever it is you want to be in, or be, look at people who are there and reverse engineer their steps. What did they do to get there? And don't judge your start by somebody else's medal. Well, they've already got 10 properties. They're already rolling in millions of dollars. Well, they didn't always have that. They started off from scratch, a lot of them. They started off not knowing any better. They made a lot of mistakes. They got to where they are today because of A, B, and C. What are those? Look at your subject. Whoever it is you want to study, whoever it is you take as a role model. Analyze them. Implement whatever it is they did in your life. See the change in yourself. And hopefully, God willing, you will see a different result. The result that you want, not the one that was given to you. And finally, change your mindset. What I'm saying may sound abstract, may sound weird, different, an alternative viewpoint that you strongly disagree with. That's fine, you have every right to your opinion. All I'm saying is try to think a little differently. Not that it's wrong, not that it's right. Maybe if you think differently, the alternative path is wrong and what you're doing is right. That's completely fine. But don't go into something with tunnel vision. It's not good to be in an echo chamber where your opinion or your idea is what resonates with you. You've got to listen to opposing views. It helps you improve your decision-making skills because you listen to both sides of the story. And that's what you're meant to do. I hope you found value in this. If you did, I would appreciate if you could hit the like button. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless.